This touchscreen. It also talks to this Arduino in the back here. The Arduino controls these two motors that we've got, and we've made these special gearboxes with worm gears in them to basically drive this multi-azimuth mount that we've created. Is on the Pi we've got software that can track optically. So I'm going to move this guy a little bit, and then what it does is it figures out where it's moved, and then it will move the mount and it will repoint position it. So what this can do now is basically you can point it at anything in the sky and just leave it and it will automatically follow it. Then we can do astrophotography, we can take pictures, we can do stacking of images. These are the things that we're playing with at the moment. We also have a thing called Wi-Fi Broadcast, which is this unit here. So again, with a Raspberry Pi and a camera and a specially hacked Wi-Fi dongle, we can basically stream this video to, say, another PC in high definition, in real time.
Yes.
Yeah. So that means that we can actually control this whole telescope remotely. Like let's say the telescope is outside and we're sitting inside. We can see what's going on. We can take pictures. We can control it. So if you look at this, the entire printer is controlled by the same interface, which Sculp actually built. So it's busy printing now, but
unfortunately,
but you can actually set. You can put a USB drive, pick a file, hit print, and it will print. And then you can calibrate it, everything right from here. You don't need a separate PC. So this is more for FPV flying. So we fly a lot of planes and gliders and so on. And we typically use video goggles. You'll see them wearing video goggles. They're flying it with the goggles. Yeah, it gets too far away that you can't see it, so you fly it through FPV. This is a special antenna to give us long range on those. As you can see, we go to Drakensberg and we fly there. And so we fly out, sometimes some of these other planes will fly out for like, say, 10, 15, even 20 kilometers away. And so you can't see it anymore once it's gone that far. And you use this to make sure your range is good and you get good video. Because the plane itself has GoPros on it and it's recording it, but you also want to in real time see it. We built these out of very cheap CarX board. What's unique about this guy is, so the design is so that you can download it from the internet. And so you basically have a big piece of CarX, you trace it out, you cut it out with a blade, fold it up, glue it together, and that's the plane itself. But inside here we've got a battery pack. And then we've got this circuit, and this is what makes this one different, is that we built the circuit from scratch. And we built this entire glider from scratch. So the only things that were bought from the store were the motors, these two motors that drive the flaps, and the battery pack in here. And then we soldered this whole circuit together. This circuit costs under 100 Rand to build. So I put a buzzer in there so that if we lose the plane, we'll know where it is. So we made the actual transmitter module as well. So I'm only reusing the housing of a different transmitter, but this is the entire circuit here, and I'm just using the battery holder. But otherwise, so as soon as I put the battery in here, you'll see it'll boot up, and then it'll link up to that guy. And now if I go left and right, you'll see those flaps move. And over here, we've got a simulator of what this is like, so in real life, how it would fly. So that's actually the same sort of model that we're using, and this is a very accurate simulator. So it actually shows you. So you only need one joystick to fly this because it doesn't have a throttle and
of course,
pitch. And so you got the simulator is nice because it teaches you how to find lift, how to keep the plane afloat, and of course you can then do like rolls and stuff, and you can experiment. And if you lose the plane like you do there, you don't have to go and fetch it. In real life, you have to go and fetch. So I did my first flight about 3 weeks back. And I've never flown a real glider before, and so it was the glider that I made, and I flew with this joystick, and it was I managed to not crash it basically, so I was quite happy. We also make these are truck gliders. You can so this one's got motors in it, but you can make it without motors, and you basically just throw them and they fly for quite a distance, right? And all of this is just laser cut out of very thin, very cheap material, like a cardboard type of material with foam in it. This particular one has some motors in it, so you can then use the same remote control system and fly this as well. And then the other cool thing that we've got is these cars. So this is a normal radio control car that we bought, and then we took the original body off. We then made a mold out of that body, and then we used sheets of plastic to remake that body using a thing called vacuum former. And what's special about this car is that we've modified it, so it's got a camera on the front. Instead of using the original remote control, we've got a radio link from the camera to goggle here. So you basically put the goggle on, and you can see through that camera. and we're going to set it up later on when we power everything up, and then you can drive it with the steering wheel and pedal. And we run a thing called Maker Academy, which allows, so it's a series of courses that start you off on Arduinos and then move on to things like Internet of Things. So here, this course that's coming up will be using the ESP8266, which is very popular amongst hobbyists. You don't need to know a lot of programming because we use things like Node-RED, which is quite easy to use. It's just drag and drop. So your group again? It's called House4Hack. So all of the details are here. Our website address. We open so every Tuesday evening is an open day. Anyone is welcome. Kids, old people, anyone, right? We don't charge membership fees. So all we're looking for is people with interest.